Hi, I'm George Anderson from Kinetic Health and Fitness, and I'm here today to talk to you about a very specific and very important aspect of your running. I always find it very interesting that if we decide we're going to go and learn how to play tennis, we're going to get a tennis coach and learn how to play tennis. We're going to learn how to play golf, we're going to get a golf coach and learn how to play golf properly. But if we decide we're going to start running, it's a simple case of putting one foot in front of the other. How hard can it be? Well, the truth is that there's a bit more to it than that. Although you can go ahead and do it that way, by optimising your technique and improving the way you run, you can actually get a lot more out of it, time spent on the road, and you'll find that it becomes an easier and more enjoyable experience. Now, as you see, I'm on a treadmill today, not a place I'd normally be found for a running session. But the reason I'm doing this is so that Jo, my camera woman, doesn't have to run alongside and try to keep up with me. If you ever are on a treadmill, my advice would be to increase your incline to 1%. Even if you're on a flat, just keep it at 1%, which gives you some upward and forward movement as well, which means that it's going to more closely replicate running outside. Training for a half marathon, most of the work you're going to be doing should be outside on the roads. So we're going to talk about technique, and specifically 5 focus points that I want you to take and apply to your own running next time you go out and hit the roads. And those 5 technique focus points are firstly, head position. So we're going to talk about the position of your head. Secondly, your shoulder and arm drive. Thirdly, your forward lean. Fourthly, the length of your spine. And finally, we're going to talk about your breathing. So let's take it from the top then. I'm going to take it up to a run, and I'm going to show you what I mean about the importance of your head position. If you're running along, and this, to be honest, is something that normally happens towards the end of your training session. You're running along, and your head starts to drop down. Well, look what happens to the rest of my body the moment my head drops down. I look down at the ground, everything else rounds over. My shoulders come in, my body's facing towards the earth. What I want to be doing is lifting the head up, aiming towards the horizon, and that opens everything back up again. The difference is huge. It's normally towards the end of a run where this starts to happen, as you start to fatigue, and you start excavating the earth as you run with every step. You lift the head up, and remember that, switch on at the end of a run, lift up that head, and it'll make a huge difference to how you finish the run. The second focus point is the shoulder and arm drive. Now shoulders, although we run with our legs and our hips, the shoulders have a big part to play in how we run. For instance, if we tighten up the shoulders and allow them to come across the body, and this is wasted energy. Energy that could be going into propelling you faster forwards or more efficiently forward at the same speed. So the arm drive should come nice and linear, facing forwards, head up, shoulders back, keep them relaxed. With the fists, try to cup a very loose fist rather than clenching or having a wrist completely loose. Loose wrists, which a lot of runners do still, there's a lot of tension into the shoulders, which we don't want. Tension into the shoulders tends to hunch everything up, again restricts the airways, which backs off how much oxygen we can get into our lungs. So nice relaxed arm drive, the elbows driving to the rear, and the hands coming maybe 8 to 10 inches forwards of the body. The third focus point is the forward lean. Now of all 5, this is perhaps one of the hardest to really get a handle on. And I asked Jo to come to the side so she can have a look from the side. Now when you're running with a forward lean, get back into the run. Most people tend to run leaning backwards. The foot will be contacting the ground ahead of the centre of gravity. The centre of gravity is around here, somewhere in the centre of your body. The foot contacts the ground just in front. Effectively what we're doing here is we're putting the brakes on every step. You're slowing yourself down. You've got to generate more speed, more strength to come over that foot that's landed on the floor. If we can take that backward lean and convert it into a forward lean, and gravity all of a sudden starts to help pull us forwards. So we're lengthening, we're lifting, we're relaxing the shoulders, and we're leaning into the run. Now you can see it's almost effortless. Running at 9 kph here, it's about a 2:10 half-hour pace. Relaxed, and with that forward lean, so gravity is pulling me forwards rather than pulling me backwards as it does in the backward move. Okay, so when you're running, it's a tough one to get a handle on because everybody's used to running either vault upright or at the very least with that backward lean. Well, they can control this as you lean forwards and gravity's helping pull you in. Okay, Joe, if you can come back to the side again, please. The fourth focus point I want to work on today is spine length. Now, our spine is designed as a column. Lengthening it is going to open our airways and it's going to allow the spine to do its job. You hunch over, again very common, especially at the end of a run. You start to hunch over with the head dropping down, very hard for that spine to rotate, and you end up getting this excavation effect as you're ploughing each foot in toward the ground. Pull from the top of the head with a piece of string and lengthen the spine, combined with that forward lean, and now we have this nice fluid running action. The moment you lift up tall through the top of the head, you automatically switch on the core muscles. So rather than thinking about drawing the belly button in toward the spine, all you have to think now is lifting up tall through the top of the head, and that is going to give you that body position that's going to turn you into a more technically efficient runner. The fifth focus point for today is breathing, which, though not specifically technique related, is something that will make a huge difference to how much oxygen you can get into your body. Now, most people, when they're running, will just breathe randomly. They'll breathe as they see fit, or as they're able to, just gasping breaths as much as they can. However, there's a better way of doing it. If we can breathe or control our breathing in time with our feet landing on the ground, and what this is going to do is going to ensure we're getting enough oxygen into our lungs, and that the oxygen has enough time in our lungs to get into the bloodstream and then take into the working muscles where it's going to be used. The more oxygen we can get in, the more efficiently we can start to work. So I'll demonstrate what I mean. Back into a run, forward lean, head up, shoulders relaxed, lengthening the spine. The breathing wants to be in, out, out, in, out, out, in, out. In, out, in, out, out. 2 breaths in, 2 breaths out. And what that does, it gives that time, at the top of the breath, the oxygen to get into the blood, at the bottom of the breath, the carbon dioxide in the blood to get out and into the lungs where you can exhale and get rid of it. So the breathing pattern is very, very important to get a handle on. And again, it's not something that will come intuitively to many runners, but it's something that if you can crack, again, will make a huge and significant difference to how easy you find running. Turn that off there for a moment. So we've got lifting the head up tall, technique focus point number 1. We've got relaxing the arms and shoulders, getting the drive to the rear rather than across the body. It's technique point number 2. We've got the forward lean, where we're literally falling forwards, stopping ourselves from overbalancing by putting one foot in front of the other. That's technique point number 3. We've got lengthening the spine, keeping everything biomechanically sound, increasing our efficiency of running. That's technique point number 4. And our fifth and final technique point that I want you to go away from today, the next time you hit the streets, put into practice, is your breathing rhythm. 2 in and 2 out, in time with the foot contacting on the ground. Now, if you can take these technique focus points and start applying them to your training today, then I can guarantee you that not only will you become a faster, smoother, more efficient runner, but probably you're also going to start enjoying it a hell of a lot more as well. Because you start to associate with your body, tuning into the signals that it's giving you. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be spending a lot more time and video time as well on technique and focusing really heavily on improving your ability to run and the way you run. We're also going to be videoing a lot of exercises, strength conditioning and core conditioning exercises, and flexibility drills you can start applying to your training as well. This is going to be all over at the Reading Half Marathon Training Club. That's readinghalfmarathontraining.co.uk, where you can join up as a member and you can start experiencing and benefiting from all the content that we have up on that website. I hope that what you've learned today has been of some value, and I hope that you're able to start putting this into practice with your own training. I'm George Anderson, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.